You've only heard from one attorney, so let's hear from another. We have Mohammed Ali here, who is he's a homeless rights advocate. He's the founder of the Orange County Poverty Alleviation Coalition. And Mohammed, while you're speaking, Sinan is going to come up and start queuing up his presentation, so don't mind him up here at the computer, but we'll let him do that. Thank you.
So I have the distinct honor and pleasure of speaking to all of you now, and also offering up my contact information for follow-up conversations after this event, because I think that's what matters. You'll forget everything that I talked about as soon as I'm done talking, but you'll have you'll have access to advocates who can find out what you have to offer and plug you into the work. Find out what skills you could possibly contribute. Find out what communities you live in and what are the challenges that are facing your particular communities. Wherever you're from, there is a battle. This homelessness crisis is affecting every single city in Orange County, and there are issues affecting us countywide. If you're involved in an organization, your organization can lend support for legislation that Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva has introduced, and other legislation that legislators are trying to pass this year. And of course, I want to help you, and that's my role as a community organizer. I want to empower you to participate in local government, to also provide direct relief to individuals who need it, to coordinate, for example, trips to the Orange County Food Bank and mobilizing food and mobilizing direct services to people that are in crises, or grassroots mobilization. Whether you've canvassed or not, I think it's an important tool in order to get projects passed. And I'd like to be able to empower you to do all those things. But when you do ask me, how can I help? I think I'm going to ask you in return, what's holding you back? Has this issue not claimed enough lives? Isn't it sufficiently important? Isn't it written about in headline after headline? Haven't we all seen it? Haven't we all driven in the past couple of years past the Orange Crush where all the freeways intersect, where under those overpasses people found the ability to find the most shade from the sun, where over 1,000 people lived in plain sight in the very entrance of our county, in such visibility that our county government decided it was necessary to displace them without any kind of a plan, prompting litigation? Didn't we all see it? And what's holding us back from helping? What's holding us back from doing what we can? I mean, how did you react? I can tell you how some of these people in this room reacted. I can tell you there are some people that I consider remarkable because they chose to react. They chose to be proactive. And that decision is what makes them remarkable. Their individual traits? Not really. I mean, I can tell you that my friend Darren Veracruz, who's sitting in the third row, he's another attorney, right? And he provides counseling for folks that need wealth management services, that kind of a thing. That's his forte. That's what he knows, right? But he also helped countless people during these crises. When people needed to be relocated from the Santa Ana riverbed, he put his time and his effort, hours on that riverbed. Is it because he's qualified to do the outreach? Is there anything special about him? Or my very good friend, Rebecca Kovacs, who was recognized as one of the 100 most influential people in the Orange County Register last year, as well as Brooke Weitzman, also given that kind of recognition. Anything special about my friend Rebecca Kovacs? Real estate agent, retired, semi-retired. Any extensive experience working with people experiencing homelessness? No. She has spent, beyond full time, she's spent countless hours helping people because that was her decision. Anything remarkable about? Let's talk about some of the speakers, Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva, has opened up about her personal loss. Her brother, passed away on our streets. Can she fiat? As much as she has that passion, as much as she, more than any other lawmaker in Orange County that wants to see action on this issue, can she fiat that these problems get solved? She's introduced legislation to dedicate the Fairview Developmental Center for housing, affordable housing, permanent supportive housing, after it's been sold off by the California legislature in the upcoming years. There is competing legislation over that same property from a fellow Democrat to dedicate it to ostensibly get public input, but we all know what the public input's going to say. It's going to be the same NIMBYs that show up in full force that are going to veto any kind of progress. And that legislation introduced by a fellow Democrat, Hadi Petrie Norris. I mean, can one lawmaker single-handedly face off not only opposition from the opposing party, but opposition from their own party about what gets done? Or Brooke Weitzman, another speaker. Did she have the capacity to take on every single municipal government when she initiated her legislation? When she was recognized in the Orange County Register, she said this was the first federal case that she's been involved in. Did she have the capacity? No. She worked 16-hour days, 18-hour days. She went above and beyond what any attorney would have done, because that was her decision. Is she the most skilled attorney in Orange County? I mean, she of course had, the honor of studying under, constitutional scholar Erwin Chemerinsky at UCI, went to an esteemed, law school, and doesn't hurt that she's brilliant and a great lawyer, but county council, they have amazing lawyers too. They studied under amazing lawyers too. Is there anything remarkable about any of these individuals? Or San Clemente? San Clemente, their municipal government has hatched a cockamamie scheme in the past week of trying to say that this homelessness problem is a problem because they're blocking our sidewalks, and that discriminates against disabled people. And if we didn't have, remarkable people like the pastor that you heard from, the situation in San Clemente would look a lot different. Is there anything remarkable about me? What have I done? And what makes me special? Because I studied sociology, and I can tell you stuff about Karl Marx and Durkheim and de Tocqueville. You know what homeless people have never asked me? They've never asked me whether the bourgeoisie are the owners of the means of production. But my degree doesn't mean anything. I mean, am I financially solvent? No. I graduated with hundreds of thousands of dollars of college debt. Do I have the best judgment? No. This one time, Misha Collins, a celebrity who acts on the TV show Supernatural, who also started a nonprofit, found out that we needed a trailer, a flat utility trailer, to haul food. And we were hauling thousands of pounds of food, and it was great service. And because I was an irresponsible steward of that trailer, I left it unlocked and it got stolen. It was bad. Do I have the best judgment? No. Am I the most patient person? Am I the best leader? I can't tell you how many conversations that I've regretted, emotionally charged conversations with fellow advocates that I thought were standing in the way of an important issue, and that I was right, and that I needed to take leadership, and I needed to take ownership of this issue, and I needed to impose my will. I can't tell you how many of those conversations with good friends that I've regretted. There's nothing special about any of us. It's all of us that are facing this challenge. It's all of us that have to decide whether we are going to decide that it's incumbent on us to act. And if there's one thing that I want us to unlearn, it's to unlearn that helplessness that we feel. I think the negative side of all of the media attention that this issue has garnered is that it has become such a pervasively negative and hopeless feeling situation. And I need you to unlearn that. You can act. My cell phone number is on my business card. Shoot me a text. Shoot me an email. I've gone on remarkable journeys with Darren, with Rebecca, with people that have just learned about this issue, stumbled into it, and become some of the most prolific advocates and some of the most hardworking volunteers I've ever met. And that's all of you. And what I really want us to understand is there are no perfect advocates on this issue. It's certainly not me. None of us. But it's also important to realize that if the poor were waiting for a perfect advocate to come along, they would never get help.